All right, what's going on? Jay Freeze from Unforgiven Podcast.
It's that boy Trey. What's it? It's episode 85, right?
85.
85. We got a guest today.
What up, though?
You're about to introduce yourself, man.
Yo, I appreciate being here. Man, we go back. It's so dope to see you here, man. And these guys get live on here. So, what up, y'all? I'm Dion, editor-in-chief of N Club Magazine. Man, I'm just here to chop it up with you guys, man. So, I'm pumped. Let's get it.
Appreciate it, man.
So now I was going to say, tell the viewers where you from and what was like growing up.
Yeah, man. So West Philadelphia, born and raised. Very different from the Fresh Prince, though. But we did go to the same high school, which is interesting. Went to Overbrook High. Yeah, man. Yeah. So lived in Southwest for a little bit. And it's funny. So I have 3 older sisters, but I wasn't raised with them. I was raised with like my 7 cousins. So I really have like 6 brothers and 1 sister, or 4 sisters if you count them, because that's kind of who I grew up with, was my cousin. So it was different, but I always felt like I lived like an only child, because I was always like, I was very, very much a maverick. I was always a loner. So it was kind of different, man. So, yeah, went to college, went to LaSalle University later on. But I've been here my whole life, so I'm Philly through and through. You know?
Yeah. Oh, all right.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell us who was your early influences coming up. Like,
So many. So I'm going to start with the first people I seen on TV that I felt like I could see myself in, and that was Play from Kid and Play, because a lot of dark-skinned guys wasn't getting no play. You know what I mean? No pun intended, right? Like, they wasn't checking for it. So when I seen Play, it was on this movie called Class Act. I was like, oh, yo, he cool as Jax, and he could fight, and everybody knew I could fight. So it was just like, yo, he remind me of me. Like, oh, all right. So it was him, and then it was like Bobby Brown. It was like a couple dark-skinned cool dudes that was out there, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really dope. They was the first people I kind of resonated with, just someone that on TV that looks like me. You know what I mean? And then later on, I would say a couple people like, Free Bill. I know he draw, but Bill Cosby, yo. Listen, the reason why Bill Cosby is such an inspiration. So I'm a storyteller, so that's the reason I have a magazine, right? And I'm heavy into film, like love movies and all that stuff. Bill Cosby was the first person to put black people on TV in college. You get what I mean? So my family didn't even talk about college, bro. Like, never. That wasn't a frame of reference. That was never something we thought about. So when I seen people on college, I'm like, oh, that's a real thing. Like, oh, okay, black people in college, that's what's up. So, early on, it was kind of that storytelling that I seen that I kind of gravitated to. So I would say early on, those was probably the first ones that I can remember. Yeah.
So what made you get into journalism?
I hated the media. I tell people all the time, like, I think sometimes if you hate something, the best way to be a part of the change is to be on the inside of it, right? You can't be on the outside knocking on the door, right? It's like, yo, let me infiltrate this thing, right, and cultivate something new. So, I always call, like, what we do alternative media, right? We're not the shade room. No shade to them. They get money. They get in the bag. Shout out to her for getting all the money that TMZ was getting, right? I'm always going to support a black woman getting that bag. But that's just not my thing. I'm not into the gossip stuff. You know what I mean? That just wasn't my lane. And I wanted to really show black people, a full diaspora of black people. We were just talking off air just how, a lot of times even in hip hop, they show one type of black person, right?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to make sure that it was proper representation of the wider diaspora of black people, you know what I mean? And black Americans, because sometimes we get a bad rap to act like because we were born in America, we ain't got no culture. No, black Americans have culture. You know what I mean? So just be able to show that in new ways, and then, feature and highlight people that I think are of character. I tell people all the time, I don't care about your celebrity. I care about, what can you offer? Are you relatable? Are you admirable? You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I got into the media in the grand scheme of it. I just like, we need proper representation,
I feel you. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Well, who do you desire to work with in the industry, and why? Like,
so I would say there's a couple people. Morgan, she started Blavity. I think she's really dope. Again, black woman. Blavity is only like 8 years old, and it's probably the biggest black-owned media company out there. Like, it's bigger than Essence, it's bigger than all those legacy ones. They're only 8 years old, right? So that would be one person. I don't look up to a lot of celebrities. There's like kind of tastemakers that I kind of like a little bit more than people who are like, A-listers and stuff like that. There's not a lot of A-listers. I'm like, oh, I want to meet this person, work with this person. You know what I mean? It's the people that's really contributing to the culture. The Gia Peppers of the world, the Charlemagnes of the world. Even, I guess he's an A-lister now, but you get what I mean? Like, there's some people that really contribute to the culture in a real way. I care more about having conversations with them. You know what I mean? We're about to interview Imani Ellis. If y'all don't know who that is, she started NYCC CultureCon. Killer. It's amazing, yo. So people like that is who I want to talk to,
All right. So how did you end up becoming chief editor in the N Club magazine?
Oh, I started it. I'm the founder. It's mine.
I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah, this is mine. Yeah, man. Yeah, from inception. This is my baby. All my money, all my ideas. This is all me.
Yeah.
So, I started this thing.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you come up with the name?
So in club actually stands for being influential, inspired, involved in Christ. So it's the idea that I realized as a media, we needed to earn people's respect. We needed to earn people to value our opinions, right? It wasn't just like, oh, just come listen because we black or just come listen because we Christian, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we're going to earn that. We're going to earn it by being influential, being inspired, being involved, right? Those are like key things. And then being in Christ is just everything about me. I see everything through a biblical lens, you know what I mean? And try to show people why that's so applicable, you know what I mean, to everything, you know what I mean? So we've been able to do that. And if I'm being honest, almost every time you attach Christian to something, it was corny. So I was like, well, we're going to change that. We're going to fix that right now. And I think we did a good job. Nobody thinks we're corny.
That's
know?
dope. That's
Nobody
dope,
ever
man.
said we corny.
Well, I think you kind of answered this question. I was just going to say, like, what is the overall mission of the magazine? But I can't kind of like, you know what I mean?
But no, but I love answering that question because it really is to be this alternative media, right? It really is to highlight us in a proper way. You know, not in no rose-colored glasses. Like, we got our issues, everything that black and God-given, right? Like, we draw sometimes, we got issues, but it's about proper representation. That's why I always use that term. Like, words mean something. I want it to be accurate. It ain't just, 6 types of black people. Like, it's a lot of us, and we all into different things. So the whole idea of In Club is like subverting the culture. You know what I mean? It's not counterculture like some people like to believe. Is we're multifaceted. We do many things. Black men are not a monolith. Like, I like Harry Styles and Styles P. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what it's about. So people like that,
That's real shit. No, that's real shit. We not monolithic, dog. Everybody different.
Yeah.
Real shit. Have you had any key figures on your platform?
I mean, I think they were key. I mean, so we've had Vanessa Simmons was on the very first issue. We had Jermaine Dolly right before he blew up. So if you want to talk about somebody local, we had Lori Hernandez, who's a Rio gold medalist, Dances with the Stars winner, and New York Times bestseller. So I think she's kind of major. You know what I mean? She's known all over the world. So, I mean, we had so many people. Sadell Curry Lee, because she just got married, but that's Stephen Curry's sister. So, I mean, Travis Green, he's kind of big in the Christendom genre of gospel, right? Grammy Award winner, yada, yada. So, I mean, a lot of people, but... I think bigger than that is, so we're not a celebrity magazine. We're content driven. It's the stories that we talk about. You know what I mean? It's like we get ahead of the curve. Like, we was talking about mental health before it became, before it became trendy, right? We were talking about social justice and colorism. Me and Sadell Curry sat down and had a conversation about colorism. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was before. Now everybody wants to have these conversations, which is dope. But we were on that. Like, we're on the cuffs of like, we really got our finger on the pulse of the culture. The stuff that people need to be having conversations about. You know what I mean? Caring not about no celebrities. To be very honest, it's like, unless you can contribute to this audience, because that's what we care about. I just had a meeting with my team the other day. I said, yo, we're projecting to do really good stuff, right? To put up really big numbers. But I'm like, I'm not banking on the next big person on our cover. I'm banking on my people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I'm so confident because of y'all, not because of who we can get on the cover. You know what I mean?
That's real shit.
So
I feel that.
All right, well, tell us about your podcast. Don't you got like a podcast?
So that's so we have a separate arm. So Different by Choice Corporation is the parent company. In Club is one of the catalysts. That's like our bread and butter. That's our main thing, right? And then the Super Late Show, which is kind of like really our geek film TV talk stuff. So on there, we literally just talk comic books, TV, and movies, and we do in depth, right? We do deep dives and stuff like that, reviews and everything like that. So that's the Super Late Show. But we mainly just talk about movies because, again, I have an affinity for film. Like, growing up, always been that way. Any form of storytelling, really, but movies is just my thing. Like, I'm such a aficionado. I'm such a critic. Like, I look at movies with a very critical lens. You know what I mean?
You saw the new Justice League?
I did not yet, so I plan to. I was just putting the finishing touches on our March issue. But I already knew it was going to be dope, though. And we should talk about that. Of course, that joint was a dumpster fire. But the issue is Warner Brothers don't know what to do with this IP, and y'all should talk about that one day because these idiots hit the panic button and we're just like, oh, just make it a Marvel movie, and we see what happened with that, right? Yeah. But so I'm pumped about it. But I love superhero films, but I was just like film, period. Like, I'm a walking movie reference, you know what I mean? Yeah, heavy into that.
I feel that. What's the next question? Oh, it's on me?
He said it's on me.
Okay. So if there's any advice you can give the upcoming journalists, or what could you get to them?
Have something to say. A lot of people just be talking. If you don't have anything to say, shut up. Wait until you aspire. Because a lot of people do things for shock value, and that those things are gimmicky. Because guess what? Then you got to say something else even more shocking, and then you got to say something else more shocking. But if you have something to say, people are going to value that. Like I've been able to speak at colleges and universities because when I say something, I have something to say. You know what I mean? And I took the long road. This wasn't an overnight thing, right? So I think that's the second thing. Like you have to choose if you want to be one of those journalists. And there's two sides. You can be one of those journalists that's like, yo, I want to be a part of this story, so I'm gonna be the shade talker. I'm gonna run everybody through the mud, and that may work for a little bit. You're gonna burn a lot of bridges, but you might get a couple checks a little sooner, right? Or you can be somebody that's like, yo, I'm gonna be a journalist of integrity. I'm gonna tell the story. I'm gonna tell everybody else's story, and not try to be a part of it. And people are gonna trust me and respect me. You know what I mean? So it depends on what lane you want to go. And I'm not really big on telling people what's good or bad, right? But for me, I'm always gonna put integrity over income. You know what I mean? And it's working out for me.
Yeah. Like what type of stories do you cover? Like
everything that's cool or concerning to my folks. You know what I mean? Anything that looks like my community, anything I think my community needs to know. You know, I think this is big too. I don't follow the trends. You know what I mean? We're not a slave to the culture. Yeah. So just because the majority of black people say this is it, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm a critical thinker. I'm gonna be like, let me assess this thing and see what really needs to be said, what really needs to be talked about, right? So I always tell people that I'm for the culture, but I'm not a slave to the culture. And I think I'm more dynamic and more of an asset to the culture because of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm a thought leader. If I'm just like, oh, y'all said, cancel this person, I guess we got to cancel them. Oh, y'all said vote for this person, I guess we got to vote. Nah, I need to think because I'm going to do you a disservice if I just go with the flow. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing for me for sure.
Yeah, that's dope.
You know what I mean? All right. But I'm old school, man.
I feel you. Like I'm the same way. I don't follow. I mean, my dad always told me, be a leader, not a follower. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
You know what I mean? But what I'm about to say, like, get a viewers just social media, like, where the best way to contact.
Yeah, man. So I don't care about social media like that. It's so funny. So you guys can follow me at D.Ringgold. Ringgold has 2 G's. I can never go broke. My last name has 2 G's. So make sure y'all follow me there for anything personal about me, family, Jesus, and Oreos. Yes, I have an addiction with Oreos. And then obviously In Club Magazine everywhere. We have an app, so you can find us in the App Store for Google and iOS, obviously. But it's probably the best magazine out. Just saying. Just putting it out there.
Hey, it's like supposed to feel.
Because I seen it, man. I wouldn't feel that way if it was whack. But I'm like, I look at this thing like, yo, we really all right, man. So that's the main two.
Oh, all right. But you want to hop into the topics?
Let's do it, man. That's what I'm pumped about.
That's what you pumped up? Go ahead.
Enough about me. Like, let's get into topics.
Swiss Beats and Timbaland get the Triller app.
Yeah,
I ain't heard about that, but
you ain't heard about that?
No, I ain't heard about that.
Yeah. What you think about that?
So it's funny. I knew they were going to. So if y'all remember, I think it was last summer, they were talking about, it's all these people throwing all this money at us and the bees, blah, 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 blah. And we said no because we wanted to keep it for the people. Y'all remember that? They came out and said that.
Yeah, they said that.
They came out and said that. Yeah, Versus was, so hold on, but this was before. So this just happened, but somebody, they didn't say who was trying to buy them, but Swiss and Timberland were just like, we're going to keep it for the people. 6 months later, my SpongeBob voice, right? They sell it to Triller. That is not black-owned company, right? And, I get it, but just don't pander. You know what I mean? We always knew you was going to sell it. Like, come on, man. It was built. It was designed to be sold. So I'm not mad at it, but it's kind of like I hated that the precursor was, we're not selling it because we want to keep it for us. Come on, my man. You were just waiting for the right offer. Yeah. Like, don't pander. Like, we're not stupid. You know what I mean? Don't disrespect us like that. But I'm like, shout out to them, though. That's good. I think Versus is, it's not original. It's not anything new. It's like Battle of the Beats or anything else, right? Okay. But I think the way they did it in the timing was really smart and really crucial, So will it continue to be as good? I think a lot of the things that Triller is doing that I like is more of the marketing. They're really good with that. Have you guys seen like the animation they did with the Ghostface and Raekwon one? It was really dope. The things that they put up, like really animated things for the marketing, which, they weren't doing that before. So I knew that was our influence. I was like, that's dope. But just, it's really going to matter the people, the stories. That's the best ones were the ones that really had true stories. Like, Gucci and Jeezy. They really had beef. You know what I mean? So that's why people was tuned into that. Like, that's, Monica and Brandy, right? It's certain ones that people, but if you just like, let's just see. Right. But that was trash, right? Like come on. For one,
it
was trash.
So Keisha Cole, for one, has a way better, category, right? However, her verses was trash. She was on, so Ashanti came out the winner.
It was the attitude,
right?
Yeah, it was the
right.
attitude. It was the
but if
energy,
you
actually.
really look at the catalog, Keisha Cole head and shoulders better than her, right? So, but anyway, but if you picking up people like that, people gonna get bored with that real fast. I didn't hear nobody talking about the Ghostface and Raekwon thing, which I think is disrespectful because in my eyes they're legends.
I didn't even know that happened.
Right,
It happened last night.
It happened last night.
Yeah.
Nobody
Last
was
night.
talking about
There
it.
was no big hype.
It was no big hype, right? So you keep dropping a couple duds like that, it can get old really fast. But this was my thing. I didn't think it was going to be long lived, which is why I knew they were going to sell it. You know what I mean? That's what you do because it's hard to really have that for a long period of time because it gets very old.
It's like what Jay-Z did with Tidal.
Yeah, exactly.
just about to say,
Exactly.
I was just about to
But
say,
but
yeah,
what's
we was about
funny
to say,
again, everybody knew that was the game plan. Now I think he's smarting up and because a lot of things changed since Tidal first came, right? So he always said it was more about music, but I don't think he envisioned it being this. I think what he's doing with this is really smart though, right? I think that was really dope. But we always knew he boarded to sell it. The same reason why he bought shares of the Nets. He wasn't planning on staying a basketball. Come on, man. It was to sell it, right? And really that's the way you become a billionaire.
Yeah,
that's how you become a
that was
B.
just
The B club. You know what I
So you
mean?
feel like it's a good- all right, I feel
Yeah,
you.
that's how that is. So, but I'm not mad at it though. You know what I mean? I think they did good for the culture. I just don't think it's going to last long, to be very honest. You know what I mean? It's going to get bored real quickly.
Yeah.
I feel you. What you think about Cardi B being the first female rapper to become diamond? Like, no, like, what's like?
That shit horrible. Like,
Like,
that shit's-
what's your thoughts on it? Because it's like,
How she get it before Nicki Minaj?
Yo, I
That's
think
what
it's
wanna know.
different
Well,
times,
well,
man.
say it
It's
again,
different
because-
times.
Can I?
No,
You-
please. Knock it
So basically, I mean, you got to think about the era and time because this is the time of one, the end of times, but also two, it's Little Kim times 10. Little Kim times 10. And reason why I say this is because, well, the era that we have now is that it's not only you're just selling sex, but it's a spirit, it's an energy that's being sold, and you're now actually getting rewarded for such energy, and you also have people. In a sense, and it being hypocritical because of the point of the Grammys in the sense of the performance that was given by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. It's a sense of, again, like I said, it's an energy. And if you want something, again, to come and walk what Dion talking about earlier about if something is bothering you and affecting change, you have to take the stand and to change the energy. Say, not only that, I'm not going to only have this music in front of my children, but also my own mind because it's the energy you give off of. So it was like people just got to be mindful of everything that they do instead of just keep trying to point the finger because you point one, you got 9 of them right back at you. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I blame hip hop, man. Hip-hop.
Oh man, dropping the ball.
I blame heavy. I mean, come on. So again, it's different times, right? So those numbers, as staggering as they are, they're a little bit easier to come by now, right? Let's be honest, because the access is different, right?
The social media
it's different, right?
Absolutely. You had to
Social
earn
media
it
age.
back in
So
those days.
you
had to really earn it.
had to
really earn
it. Like even corny people like Nelly, when he did it, you was like, because you know how hard that is, right? You clapped it up for Nelly, even though you knew he was trash. So with Cardi,
I can't go on.
oh man,
He got some class.
give me a verse.
Nelly got
Give me a
classic.
Nelly verse.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
no.
Hold
Oh,
on.
no.
If it's from Crunchy Grammar, I'm leaving. I'm walking off. I'm walking off if you give me a Crunchy Grammar verse.
Nelly ain't got no classic.
He ain't got no.
He ain't got no classic.
Stop
He got
it.
classic songs, but he don't got a classic verse.
I was going. I need 2 purrs, but okay.
I'm done. So Nelly is trash, right? Seemed like a solid
I tried for you,
dude,
Nelly. I
but
tried,
he's trash. But with Cardi, I think it's a little bit easier to come by. I'm not going to say she didn't work hard because let's be very honest.
She definitely worked.
When she was on
She
Love and
definitely
Hip Hop,
worked.
people was trying to play her.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
She worked.
She
She
was
definitely
talking
worked.
about her music, and they were just like, "Oh, that's corny. You ain't."
She
gonna
said
go
one day
nowhere."
I'ma make it.
Remember? This was on Love and Hip Hop. So,
I agree.
so this is the thing. So. Yeah, we got my man off camera like, yo, I'm not with it. So it's a little bit easier to come by. However, I think anybody who, if you're a music fan, even a casual music fan, knows that Nicki should have got that. But Nicki was the only girl in a boys club. Right now, you have a lot more. So Cardi looks like she shines above everybody. Nicki was in a boys club and rapped better than most of the boys.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Now,
But shout out to Cardi though. Shout out to
Yeah,
y'all.
shout out to Cardi.
Even though that Grammy performance wasn't great in my opinion, but
Interesting
yeah, I wasn't interested.
that you actually say that about the Cardi versus with dealing
Talking
with
to the
Nicki
mic, bro.
Minaj.
Talking to the mic.
Excuse me. Well, Cardi versus dealing with Nicki Minaj because with Nicki Minaj, everybody has. Me and Fraser was going on this the other day. Everybody has their ghost writers or what do you call them?
Sure.
credits and whatnot, right?
Sure.
So, but back when Nicki Minaj, when she was with Safari One, and a lot of stuff that maybe she might have created came from him or whatever the case may be. But when dealing with Nicki Minaj versus with Cardi B, Nicki Minaj had a group as well. She had people also actually kind of like to help her or assist her, kind of in the sense even like Lil' Kim. People had somebody to kind of like a crew.
Sure.
Exactly. Every Rough Riders, et cetera, et cetera.
Icon, though,
Yeah.
No. I'm not taking that from her. I'm not taking that from her. But see, when the difference. Well, listen. When you don't give homage to the generation before, then it starts to cause confusion. So that's the reason why Nicki Minaj got
so much hate.
She got so much hate. Then not only that she didn't properly get the crown from Kim, but she also started to hate on Cardi B. And once you start the hating and stuff like that,
she didn't do herself no favors. But if I'm just specifically talking about the idea that Cardi is the first, if it's the conversation of is it deserved? Sure. Should she have been the first? No.
Okay,
right?
okay.
But I think we can say that about a lot of people, right?
Agreed.
Like when Halle Berry was the first black woman to win an Oscar, we were just all like, okay. Should she have been the first? No. Right? But so I don't think anybody's taking anything away from her.
It's a role. I apologize. It's a role that she had to play also.
Well,
too,
so that's a whole nother conversation.
Anything that's unmodest to in order to get. See, now we're talking about again being awarded. That's the reason why I became diamond. Since when something that's something off the street became an actual diamond of the rough.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Come on. Man, shout out to Cardi though, because Bodak Yellow is all bangers.
Absolutely.
That slaps.
And what's his name? Got what's it called in that? Kodak Black.
Yeah.
We got shares in that song or something?
Yeah.
Because that was based off. It's
It was based off.
It was 100%. But I think
influenced
everybody
by him.
And shout out to Party Fontaine because I think he wrote half.
Oh, that's smart. So he got
so he make money off of it.
Yeah, Party right for everybody.
Isn't that Megan Thee Stallion boyfriend or something like that?
That's her new boyfriend. Yeah, that's the new boo.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Who?
Party the Fontaine.
Oh, I'm about to
he's a
say
ghost
Sounds
writer.
familiar.
Yeah, he writes for everybody. He writes for Ye. He writes for Cardi. He writes for everybody. Yeah, he's solid dude. Shout out to them though, and shout out to Cardi.
Well, listen, if you know her bars
I'm
get better,
glad a
you know
woman
why.
got this. I'm glad it's about time, but it's kind of late, but it's about time. So hopefully it become easier for the next person. That's how I look at it. Like Nicki ain't get it, but I think Nicki is revered amongst hip hop heads, and I think she always will be. And for all the money she made, I don't feel sorry for her. It's like you ain't get an accolade, but you all right. Nicki ain't impressive,
What you think about Drake becoming the first artist to debut all 3 songs?
Yeah.
No action. You already know what I'm gonna say.
No, I want to hear. Go ahead. I want to know what you gotta say.
Go, bro. No. I'm just saying, it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
It ain't a surprise, bro. But I'm saying, I'm just saying, give my man credit, bro.
Yo.
Give my man credit,
You
dog.
know what I hate about? So again, hip hop holds hip hop is weird, man.
Uh-oh.
We hold people hostage. Listen,
Go ahead.
Drake right now will be considered the greatest rapper of all time if it wasn't for those sample tracks where people say that Quentin Miller wrote him. Even though I do not believe Quentin Miller wrote bars for Drake. Nah. I don't believe that. I believe as Drake was going through his career, he wanted this other sound. Quentin had something that he liked and he paid homage so Quentin could get a check. Jay did the same thing with Big. He said every time when I use a big verse, I'm only bigging up my brother, bigging up my barrel, big enough to do it, right? So Drake, everybody talks about how generous he is. If you were in the studio when he did a song, he you getting a check, you getting a check. So he realized that this kid was working at the grocery store. He liked the flow he used on a song. He said, yo, I'm going to make sure that you get a check for that. I don't think Quentin Miller was writing Drake's bars because Drake been fire since way before, right? It's the same thing with Kanye when people try to discount him because he admits to having writers. Kanye didn't always have writers. He has writers now because he's busy. He has a freaking $1 billion shoe company. He's busy. He don't care about this no more. He's like, I'm not trying to be the greatest rapper alive anymore, right? So you don't care. You I'm trying to make good music. So anyway, the thing about Drake, am I surprised? No. Shout out to him because Drake, I think people forget because we have recency bias. Drake has been number one for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Drake is literally the greatest rapper of all time. Listen.
Facts.
He just is. But guess what? Nobody's going to give him that because everyone's a purist. It has to be a Kendrick. You had to come from the streets. You had to come from the hood. You had to sell some drugs. Drake's too nice. He's too pretty for people to want to crown him the greatest rapper of all time. They're like, nah, we got to have somebody grittier. It's stupid. But shout out to Drake, though.
But no,
You don't come from the traditional,
Aubrey.
whatever.
Because I seen some shit earlier today that I think it was on Academics page where they was like,
You like academic?
I like academics.
Yeah.
I like academics.
But no, because I seen you comment. I already know what you gonna say.
What?
Would you rather have Drake's career, or would you rather have Jay-Z's career?
Drake,
Like if you
bro.
could.
It depends on what my goal is.
Say
That's what I'm
Jay-Z or
saying.
Drake?
So it depends. Yeah, Jay-Z or Drake. It depends on what my goal
I say
is.
Drake.
You know what I mean? Like if you mean like, I guess the accolades. If I'm chasing accolades, or if I'm chasing this idea of being this hip hop connoisseur, I guess it's just different. I think it depends on what my end game is, right? I think I would probably pick Drake for a lot of reasons that we don't talk about because we respect Hov and he's the man. Like I love Hov. This is no shade, but he is what Cameron said, a swagger jacker. His whole career was preserved by being able to, ride everybody else's wave, right? And then once he got to a place where he was just like, all right, I don't care no more. I can just say whatever I want. He tried on American Gangster, and that wasn't really a great album. So he came out with the song. Remember, listen, I'm talking about numbers-wise. Numbers-wise. Because he came back and said, I'm going to give you that issue like that run because he was mad that nobody really bought the album. So he was honest. He tells you in his music, like, all right, I'm going to just go back to talking this street stuff and this, that, and the third. So, I just feel like he's like more of a chameleon when it comes to music. I think as a guy, he's just weird and he's fine, But if I'm just talking like I want to solely be a talent, I'm going Drake, 100%.
All the way.
Yeah, Drake is ridiculously
I'm
talented.
gonna go with Jay-Z because he's a billionaire. Like I'm trying
What does
to
that
get
mean, though?
rich.
What that
I'm
He's
got
trying
to
to
do
get
with
rich.
I'm trying. That's the whole goal. Like, I'm trying
I
to
say
get rich.
it all depends. Like, okay, you got the Drake, whereas though that me and Freeze always go about this too. Drake's background and dealing with his family being in the industry,
Sure.
Also too in the industry of dealing with especially entertainment, having roots of being Jewish and stuff like that. So
sure.
it was that much easier for him to kind of like get in where he fit in. But however,
for
I
sure.
will never ever take away Aubrey Dram's Drake's talent at all.
Yeah.
I prophesized, even Freeze could say since we was children back
Whoa.
in, I want to say back in 07.
Wow.
I knew since comeback season that he's going to be the new Hov. Just to
Wow.
seeing his work, his
You knew
drive,
that
his
then.
pen.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
then, because I'm only saying this is because that when I perceive something, not only just from the I guess you say for example, you say you look things through critical eyes, right? So I'm gonna look at a religious aspect, I'm gonna look at a political. A lot of things that might be touchy for someone, but however, if I'm able to see the persona of what the world is looking for. Okay, who's the tall Canadian kid coming from America and really having bars, and the fact that not talking about the streets, but at the same time running tracks and songs, and at the time, especially when it was the King and Lion, you're dealing with Drake and Wayne. So and even before he even got to that point, when he was dealing with Trey Songz, a replacement girl. So it was literally that you can see the plight of him going through different necessarily genres and whatnot. So eventually, I'm not necessarily surprised that Drake would say, you know what, I'm a well, everybody eventually do it. So he sees it's too busy, but his talent and to copy necessarily how he does it, in my opinion, I love Drake the life, but to me, in a sense, he could be a swagger jagger on different energies of different things. Or he wants to go Caribbean stuff like this. But however, his talent
doing that though.
No. That's what I'm saying. But however, hear me though. But however, numbers don't lie, and the fact that even if I'm put it like this, even if I'm able to copy something, the fact that I was able to do it, to perfect it, I gotta give.
I'm with you. That's why Kobe is in my top 3 of all time, no matter what. Like Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Kobe.
Like, listen,
Yeah.
and I know this is off, and I'll let us get back to it. But I think it's interesting when people try to put Magic Johnson or anybody else. If the only person I'll let you even debate is better than Kobe is Bron, because nobody's prime has been as long as LeBron. So if people say Bron, I'm like, all right, whatever.
Okay,
I'll let you argue that, but my guy's still going to be Kobe. And I'll tell you why. Everybody even says it. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Kobe was the only one with the audacity to actually do it.
Okay, I agree. Now listen, no. That's
the only one with the audacity to be like, I'm going to do it.
Can I tell you the difference though? The reason why. Okay, for example, this is the only reason why that what impeded his greatness.
Who?
Kobe. Kobe's always been great because like the Black Mamba, the basically the copy image of Mike. However, facts. The movements, the tongue, the everything. Now, however, the problem is with, and this is a universal problem, you impede your greatness when you keep your ego in the way of you. So the reason why LeBron is able to exceed Jordan in necessarily numbers and stuff like that, because he's willing to pass the ball. He's willing to be more of a team player. And not even that, necessarily that Jordan might have been the top guy, but he wasn't necessarily the captain because he was too worried about necessarily out for self. So even though that necessarily, he knew that I needed Scottie Pippen, I needed Dennis Rodman and all of them. You feel what I'm saying? However, I'm utilizing you just to get to my objective. That's all it is. But see, now on the outside of necessarily dealing with courts, it was actually a family. It's a camaraderie thing. It's looking at a brotherhood. Jordan wasn't looking for all that. He was just looking strictly for greatness.
But I think it's different. So one, you're not going to sit here and say LeBron is better than Michael Jordan.
No. I said numbers. Listen. I said exceeding numbers as far as greatness, as far as exceeding numbers.
I'm messing with you.
But
I think it's earlier to our earlier conversation that it's just a different time. You got to remember
that too.
When you were a two guard in the 90s, only thing you were supposed to do was shoot. True. It's not that you were incapable of doing anything else. It was like, yo, this is your job description. Basketball has changed. It is more fluid, right? So it is where a LeBron can even think about lesser players like a Russell Westbrook who has a packed stat sheet. You're not going to sit here and tell me this man better than Scottie Pippen. No, you're not. But if you look at his stats, he averaged more assists. He averaged more. But he ain't better. It's just, again, we talk about things being able to come to you a little bit easier. Dude, we got scrubs that's dropping 50 points now. We had, what's the guy name who played with LeBron? Something Williams. He dropped 50 points in a game. Mo Williams. He averaged 50. I mean, he didn't average. He scored 50 points in one game. Mo Williams. Nobody's even going to remember him. I almost forgot about him. So a lot of those things come easier now. So that's the reason why even with LeBron is great. LeBron is great. So he's an exception to the rule. Okay. But other people are going to have better numbers than Hall of Famers and not be better than these Hall of Famers.
Well, I mean, shoot, dealing with the politics, you got to think about it. It's like nowadays, let's just keep faith on board in dealing with this. Back in the days, we come from the era with T9. You know, the phones was literally one color. It didn't have pixelated LCD, all that. We talking about CTRs, fatback computers and stuff like that. Right. So when you had to actually use the element of surprise and actually use your imagination and listening, so you actually was able to focus actually on your craft. Nowadays, the NBA players, they got these medicines, they got the equipment, they got all these different things to actually make sure their body is longevity. Then on top of that, they added more politics to basketball. Foul.
Right.
Wow.
Draw.
You know what I mean? So like once you did that,
it
literally exactly. Flagrant foul out of the game. So you know what I mean?
Listen, but it's all for you compromise real, athletes being competitive because for the sake of the game, which I get it because they grew and the game is worth a lot more money than it did, in Jordan days. So I mean, it's a gift and a curse, but the business side of it, you understand. They're like, listen, if I can keep our star players around longer, then that's what I'm going to do. So and it's worked out for them.
Did y'all see the 2021 Grammys?
Yeah.
Was this like?
I
heard about it.
I'm surprised they gave Nas a Grammy.
Why are you surprised?
Cause this is like, all right, all these years you ain't give him a Grammy.
But that's why I asked you again. Why are you surprised? We're in an era of tokenism.
I was just about to say that. I agree.
They just gave Spike Lee for Black Klansman, which is one of his lesser movies, if we're honest.
Of course.
But they made sure that this man got an Oscar. We're in a Well, I don't like tokenism. I feel like that's a form of white supremacy too. But go ahead.
Absolutely, disrespect. But what is now where it's so.
Shout out to Nas.
To Kim and walk on you just because I mean we same church, the whole 9 yards. So interesting with the scriptures, right? So if we look at the 12 tribes and just dealing with things and dealing with people with olive hue, and Jesus said, bronze will hear. All right, cool, right? So the scriptures in the dozen Revelation says the first shall be last, the last shall be first. So when you're looking at, we're dealing with European oppression and just how we are oppressed in different ways. That's all kind of mentioned about dealing with what made Drake easier, kind of like untouchable. Yeah. Because his European background and stuff like that. That made it
he
that
was just
a little
coming
bit
from
much.
Canada. Like we automatically we're just weird like that.
Also
right?
having nationality too.
Yeah.
See, having nationality also people don't understand how much broad of a audience and things that actually opens up for you. He's not just somebody that he's just black. Like what is that? Facts. You know what I mean? He actually he's a Canadian kid he's Jewish. His father was this, his mother's that, blah blah blah. He was on Degrassi. He has a whole he has a file. You know what I mean? Yeah. So but yeah, I kind of forgot what I was said a little bit.
I was going back to about why Nas and tokenism.
All right. So it's dealing with Nas. So I mean, it's simple. Like I said, literally, it's just now that people that have put in a body of work is finally being recognized because you got to think about it. They've been around for so long, and hip hop to this day, no matter how you look at it, even with all this nonsense. it wouldn't be without these people.
Correct.
Period. You feel what I'm saying? Like literally, you could, especially for the era of the '90s, you could call Nas, Hov, and all of them. They're literally the founding fathers of a certain era and energy of hip hop. So it's just like you can't move forward and keep going on without that. And even on top of that, Nas actually shakes his hands sit down with a lot of Europeans. His Hennessy endorsement and stuff like that. So Nas also too is like he's seasoned now, if that makes sense. It's like he's basically like the wine and stuff that people drink. Right. He's seasoned to the point he's able to literally
old wine. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Listen, I'm gonna keep it being. Lil Baby should have won a Grammy. I'm gonna just keep it being.
It's just premature.
I will say,
it's just premature. No. It's just premature. It's just premature. It's not that he don't deserve it. It's premature.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. No. It's unpopular opinion. Nas had a good album, but if we talking about current who had the hottest album of 2020.
Let me ask you something. How many times does Grammy acknowledge someone that just came out and gave them a Grammy immediately? You have to be seasoned. Grammy is something that you got to be seasoned in. There's no way in the world I heard somebody that's been around for 3 years or such, then they just pop.
Kendrick? Yeah. Kung Fu Kenny. Kung Fu Kenny was brand new when he got it.
How long was that for?
Butterfly.
Yeah,
he got a Grammy.
He
got like 4 of them now.
He got raped out of it was the Good Kid, Mad City joint by
and he got a Pulitzer. Yo, screw a Grammy.
But listen, but Butterfly. But how many? Listen, but how long was that out of body of
How to Pimp a Butterfly was brand new. Yeah, that was. I think that was like his first project. And he got a Grammy for it.
They didn't give him for Good Kid, but they gave him for Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, but I think again it was at an era where people felt like hip hop was dead, and you had Kendrick and J. Cole.
Yeah, I was about to say actually it was time sensitive. Yeah, it was definitely. I said that was a time sensitive.
But Nas shouldn't have got no Grammy. Let's be honest.
You said Nas?
Nas should not have got a Grammy.
Lil Baby.
Yeah, I don't
do you
listen to Lil
mean?
Baby, let me be honest.
Okay,
so I'm talking for this. I'm not saying overall. Oh no, I'm saying for this. Overall, for
me
sure.
Me personally, I'm giving it to him for his overall body of work.
But that's
he should have been gotten it.
You're
right, but I mean, but we don't have power. It's the Europeans. So
This is half the problem, man. But this is definitely half the problem, or 90%, maybe 75% of the problem. But the other part is us, man. Like we have our own stuff, and we continue to give it away. This is how I always explain it. This is how I explain it. For too long, we never asked for anything more. We never asked for any special treatment. We just said we just want the same that everybody else got, right? Mm-hmm. So we like, yo, can we get a house? Nope, we gonna redline you. All right, can we go to a good school and get education? Nope. So we start HBCUs. Mm-hmm. Y'all won't let us in? Cool. Mm-hmm. Can we go to our churches? No. Cool. We start the Black Church, which actually precursor to the HBCUs and a whole bunch of other stuff. So people going to stop saying the Black Church don't do nothing because you wouldn't have almost anything Black excellence included in NAACP without the Black Church. Anyway, so let's keep going. So then we want to play sports. Yo, can we play baseball? Nope. Start the Negro Leagues. Sell out. Y'all come like, okay. So what we've done, and it continues to happen, we start Soul Train Awards, all this other stuff because y'all won't acknowledge us, right? But then for some reason, just like Black Wall Street, after they burned our stuff to the ground, killed a whole bunch of people, the moment things were desegregated, we was like, oh, cool, we're going to leave. And that's what happened, right? We still doing that today. Exactly. And the problem is we're selling our house so that we can rent a room in our mansion. And that's a problem. That's a problem. So the fact that we're still seeking validation from Grammys and Oscars, yo, if they don't, go where you loved. Like, why do we keep thinking that we got to be acknowledged by them in order to solidify what we're doing, right? Well, it's a problem. We're too busy looking at Rodeo Drive and not looking at the real estate. We're too busy looking at the address. Like, oh, I want to live on Rodeo Drive, but bro, your house was worth so much more.
Exactly. It's perception. It's perception.
So we got chill, but it's tokenism, and I don't like it. I think people who deserve it should be giving it to it at that moment, period. I don't listen to Lil Baby, let me be honest. So shout out to Nas. He should have got it for Ether. Simply based on that.
Wow. All right, what you think about Kanye winning the best, what he won?
It was weird again. But this weird. It's so weird. But I knew he was going to win. Oh, really? Yes. This is a bad thing about gospel. They are dying to have big names again, right? Tori Kelly a couple years ago got a Grammy for a gospel album. The album was cute. It wasn't gospel. It was cute. Right. It wasn't gospel. Right. Kanye album, cool. But it's Kanye. So you automatically knew they was going to give it to him simply for name recognition. They want people to get into God. Because guess what? The politics of it, to your point, is, people may come and see who else is in the gospel now because Kanye West did a gospel album.
Jesus is king.
Oh, right? Tori Kelly. Tori Kelly is a white woman, right, who's a Christian, and she has a lot of, UK descent. her. So they're like, oh, if we give her a Grammy, she'll come out to our events. If we give her a Stellar Award, maybe she'll show up and people will watch the Stellars because she's there. It's that type of nonsense. So shout out to Kanye.
It's for the look.
Yeah, it really it's for the politics. It's really they're trying to substantiate their genre, and instead of just going about it the right way and giving people in their genre opportunities, because they play this vicious cycle of, well, we're only going to keep. If you listen to any gospel station right now, they still playing stuff from the Clark sisters. Like, are you kidding me? You telling me ain't no other good gospel? Like, are you kidding me? There's maybe one or two who break through, like a Corinne or Jonathan. Other than that, you listen to stuff that came out in '98, in 2002. It's like, what are we doing? It's a lot of people that's coming up that they won't give a chance to until they pop. So that's a whole other conversation. But shout out to Kanye. The album was fine. I give it like a 7.
It was all right.
That's fair.
Kanye, the richest black man in American history.
How about
they said that's false.
They said it's false?
They actually said that's cap, bro.
In American history?
They
who's
said
richer than him?
I don't know, but they said that's cap. I looked it up.
The richest, so not black person in the world, but black America.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think that's not true.
No, I looked
6.6 billion.
They're like no. That's
okay.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kanye.
Estimated. It's always estimated.
What black
shout
man
out to
has
Kanye
$6
West.
billion?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Huh?
What black man has $6 billion?
6 B's? I don't know.
No,
but
That's more than Jay-Z.
No.
Yeah, Jay only worth like one and a half.
Well, think about it though. That's being with now because he sold his last name dealing with Ace of Spades and was Ace of Spades and the Duce thing and something else that he has. That's what made he's officially by himself. Before he needed Beyonce.
He was a billionaire for like the last couple years by himself. Yeah, probably like the last 2 years by himself.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why everybody was so pissed at him when he did that whole deal with the NFL and all that stuff.
I definitely.
Yeah. People wasn't feeling that, but he's been like he's literally worth 1.5 now. He's worth like 1 billion exactly, just solo by itself. But even so, this is the thing. So even if that is true, I hate that that's news because it's almost like this thing again. Oh, he made it, so all y'all should be able to do it too. They kind of use him and use those type of things to say that we should be able to come through oppression and stuff like that too, and pretend like it doesn't happen. So when they tell those type of stories, I'm always mindful of like, who wrote that? Let me go see who wrote that. Let me go see where their angle is, right? Because it ain't really to celebrate us. Like, let's be honest. Exactly. Like, depending on who wrote it. So, sorry, I'm not to the mic. He gonna get me. He gonna get me. But so I'm always cognitive of like, what's this person agenda with putting this out there as news, right? But even if he's not, listen, it's great for him. I guess I don't know if it's beneficial to anybody else. So to me, news like that doesn't excite me. I'm just like, oh, that's what's up. Like a black man getting the bag. That's great. But to the same thing, I can't substantiate it because I've never looked into it. So I just seen it, but I didn't go search like, oh, who else was worth this kind of money? Who was it before Kanye? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I need to go do my homework before I just put that out there, for public consumption.
I mean, I definitely applaud him because it's like the brand, him owning land, like because a lot of people don't talk about that because like, people say he creating. I watch his interviews. Bull be saying some.
Oh, he definitely do.
People but overlook that though because of him being a son.
Because all the stupid stuff.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be real. Like when he went to the
Kardashians, they put up a lot of smoke screens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They whole life is particularly on TV. So when something's engineered, it's kind of
funny,
like
and I know that's way off topic. I'm gonna say it for 2 seconds if that's fine, Trey. I don't want no smoke. I just listen. When the engineer give you that look, I just want to be like, can I say something? No, I was just gonna say I think the Kardashians deserve a little bit more credit than they're given, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Why you say that?
So I think it's one thing to get into the game for a particular reason. It's another thing to sustain it. Kim Kardashian has built a brand. So I don't care about the sex tape if she leaked it or not.
That's irrelevant now.
But that's all people will still reference. People say that she's famous for nothing. I don't know if that's true. I think Kim Kardashian, is the first person to be able to specialize in making money off of being an influencer. Kim Kardashian is technically the first influencer, and now that's a market. Now everybody's telling you how to be an influencer.
Okay,
she actually created that lane.
I can concur with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
so
that's fair.
It's the same thing when we talk about T.I. We respect him because T.I. started trap music. You know what I mean? Kim Kardashian started how to monetize being an influencer. So I think she needs to be given a little bit more credit.
I agree.
I guess the only reason why the world gives her the stigmas because it's like somebody says it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But it's just I guess during her career, what besides the things dealing with helping people get emancipated.
How can we say besides? Name 10 other people that done that.
No. Hear me. Because listen, I said now we're mixing again. Like I say, a religious standpoint in politics again. Politically, beautiful. And it's the aspect of morality of looking at somebody of career. So okay, what has she done necessarily for the culture besides the best makeup, the best this, the best that. Now, as far as her being a woman of again creating her own brand and et cetera, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So again, she starts her career off a sex tape, and then on top of that, I guess you say another. I mean, it's like, okay, where's the good part of? She started helping people get out of jail. So that's like okay, this something we can give her. I think
before then. I think we just didn't give her credit because this is how I look at it. So it's this duality of why I think social media is good and bad, right? Okay. We make a lot of stupid people famous. However, we also give a lot of opportunities like the Gorilla Glue girl who, that's going to change her life, right? She's in her 40s. But listen.
She was 40? I thought she was a child.
Wow. No, Tessica is in her 40s. Wow. But guess what? This thing, I know it's a terrible name. Her parents did her dirty. But anyway, now that's going to change her life, right? Yeah. So you look at Amanda Gorman. She was already doing pretty good. She had like 100K followers. She does the inauguration. 2.3 million followers just within hours of doing that, right? Social media is allowing people to have other ways into making good money and generational wealth without going through gatekeepers. Absolutely. That's a good thing. Absolutely. The bad part about that is we make a lot of stupid people rich and a lot of stupid people influencers and a lot of stupid people have a say that shouldn't have a say.
And that
right?
creates the same.
Right. So again, Kim Kardashian, we say what she did for the culture, maybe inadvertently. I'm not saying that she had a plan, but she's allowing a lot of people to access money and generational wealth that probably wouldn't have been able to do that. It's a lot of people that's not college educated. It's a lot of people that's not privileged. Okay. There's a lot of people that may not have any other way. They would have had to go through, I guess I got to move to LA to become an actor. Now I can just be on social media because of Kim Kardashian.
I agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
That's from a different
lens.
But
we don't give her credit for that. But she literally broke that door open. Now a lot of people are eating because of what she did.
So basically, so she's the soldier girl of basically of the influencer because Soldier Boy is the original of. No, listen. I'm being honest.
Tell the truth.
So like for example,
Big Draco.
Listen. Shout out to young Draco.
Shout out,
Big Draco. You feel
Big Draco.
Seriously, so basically they'll be the soldier girl because I agree with that because even though again how she might have started, but when you look at Kim Kardashian's career, makeup, this, that, and the third, it was always literally in front of the camera. And honestly, when you look at every sister that might be nationality between no disrespect between Palestinian, maybe Hispanic, maybe biracial, whatever. They always got that old Kim Kardashian look. The hair a certain way, the makeup a certain way. It's literally a certain look that I'm like, you like a Kardashian.
Yeah.
So I can concur with that.
Yeah, and I mean, and so much more of that. But that's a whole other issue that I think us as black people that we have a problem where we call everything exotic except for our old people. Right? I'm just like, y'all crazy. I love me a
demonstrate.
Black woman.
It's nothing better. It's nothing better.
Dark woman.
It's nothing better.
Oh wow, yo. But it's like so it's weird. But think about it. Even in the neighborhoods, growing up, right? If she was right, Keisha Belly. So y'all know her from Keisha Belly. I know her from. She used to be in this. She was in. I think she was in this video. I think if that's the same girl, it was this guy called A+. He was a rapper. He had like one hit, and I think she was in that video. So y'all know
what song you talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it was called All I Need. But anyway, see, that's I'm dating myself. But anyway, so we gotta get out of this space where we love everything more than we love ourselves. You know what I mean? Anytime we live in a neighborhood, I'm from West Philly, right? 59th and Southford. If a girl in our neighborhood, was lighter skin, or she was, don't let her be Puerto Rican. Oh, she became. Top tier.
Jenny from the block.
Simply because she's not black. And we still do that. Oh, we want her foreign. She got this and the third. She foreign. Like, what? Go check the last time a black artist called a black woman exotic. You won't find it. When they talking about exotics, they talking about Asian. They talking about,
Hispanic.
what exactly. Right? I'm just like, have y'all not seen black women? Like, are y'all wild? Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get it about
That's by design.
Wait, time out. Can I just
it is by design, but though we know this, information is at our fingertips now. We know, but not the average motherfucker. Like, you don't think so?
Listen,
you don't think that's still a click away?
A lot of people, they not.
I'm gonna keep
I guess.
Listen, 95% of your life, you're technically you're in a subconscious state.
95%?
95% of your life.
You might show me that data.
Listen,
that seems a little high.
No, listen, no. Think about this.
95.
Think about this.
Jeez.
How many times? Of course, you could count this, but how many times actually in life only time you were conscious is when you were nervous and something was new to you. Everything else was on autopilot.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like consciously unconscious, like driving. Like the first
everything,
time,
washing your body, everything, even when you put on your clothes, unless you are about to go, for example, right? when you have your first child, now you're conscious of it because it's like, oh, I'm about to be a father, this and that, third, or I'm about to walk down the aisle and whatnot, and I'm about to get married. Now I'm conscious of it because I'm about to make a decision that's about to be for the rest of my life. Or this particular, now this isn't a job because jobs are jobs. Just create finance for means to an end. But this is a career now. Necessarily, this is actually a brand of part of my life. So now anything that's, if it's not stamped, you're not really conscious of it. You're literally going every single day just living your life. And unless even if to the point that fact that you're getting upset about things again, until you're realizing it's making you upset, there's the energy of anything. People always just say, oh, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But are you identifying what's going now? You're becoming conscious of what's occurring or happening.
95% still seems a little high, and I guess I can only speak for myself because
I
don't have anything to back up what I'm saying.
That's not a fact. That's not a fact. Don't hold me on that.
Right.
I'm just saying because let's look at the world. People are not conscious at all.
I was just about to say I get that.
The Walking Dead. But I know
me, I'm ridiculously a critical thinker.
Absolutely, if you're a critical thinker, absolutely.
Always have.
I got straight A's with critical thinking. Absolutely, come on.
So I've always been like super intentional, right? But when I think about it, I could see why that number will be high. Even if it's not, I could see why that number could be high. Because you're right. After a while, it's just autopilot. It's just like it's conscious. It goes from you being conscious of it to being consciously unconscious, where you're just like, oh, why you do it? I just do it, right? Yeah, yeah, man. Dropping gems. I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm with it.
Some of it could be muscle memory too, though. Like just
but it's kind of the same thing, though, right?
That's subconscious.
Yeah, that's subconscious. If it's muscle memory. Yeah,
it's already there. Like you know, it's like somebody about to swing on you. You just like, oh,
right.
They be like, oh, what happened? Like, bro, it was just a reflex.
It's a great point. It's a great point. So. Shout out to Young Draco.
Young Draco. You said,
Big Draco. I'm sorry. Remember he got mad. Drake shouted out. Oh,
Bow Wow. Yeah, he got mad. Said, nigga stole my whole. He caught my whole line. He got this nigga funny.
I was just like, yo, this guy. Yeah, he was super mad. But listen, Bow Wow did make a lot of people wear braids. Bow Wow did make a lot of people kind of do the singy, songy, rappy thing.
Listen, he was the rapping AI, the young rapping AI. That's the best
exactly
way to explain
what it was.
I feel like Bow Wow legend. I don't care nobody.
I feel like that's.
I'm gonna say this. He's a childhood. Listen, he's a childhood.
Yo, he
give him childhood legendariness. What I mean by this, because no matter what,
like Macaulay Culkin, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic.
Right?
No,
classic.
No, fact.
But ain't nobody checking for him right now. I'm not looking like, if I'm writing a movie right now, I'm like, yo, you gotta get Macaulay Culkin. Right. Somebody find Macaulay Culkin's information on IMDb for me.
That's a good one. All right. That's a good one. I agree with that.
So I look at it like that. But I do love that somebody of Drake's status can shout out somebody of Bow Wow, like, because you don't need Bow Wow. So I thought that was, but that's just more reasons why, Drake is just a legend.
He pay homage, though.
Yeah.
I mean, then on top of that, how many hip hop artists or rap, whatever how genre you want to call them, actually dipped in every single genre? Like Hov started when he had Linkin Park, you know what I mean? Encore.
Did that stuff?
No, Run DMC. I lied. Run DMC started with
I was about to say.
I apologize.
I
apologize. I had to go back to memory lane.
They did it first.
At least I caught myself.
Yeah, right.
I let that go. You know what I mean? So people like, oh, who the
right? You can't put that out there in the ether. People gonna be on y'all.
They like, yo, the boy don't know nothing about hip hop.
What is he talking about?
Don't even lay him around the table no more. He drunk.
But I didn't even like the Linkin Park thing. It felt forced to me. But that's just me.
Okay.
It felt forced.
It's forced, but it's still a classic to me. The Linkin Park part.
I feel like even though like Run DMC and all that started it, when that song, what was that song? 07, Party Like a Rockstar. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
When that song came out, it was like a little different. It was something different. I feel like
that was original. I thought they were actually. I feel like they got blackballed. It's something happened with them.
That was their only hit. That was their only
No, but I'm saying but they could have did something with that though. They could have did something.
Remember Franchise Boys?
Yeah, Franchise Boys was the white tee.
They had a couple. That was a couple of them. Because to be honest with you, who ran the South the longest? I mean, ran hip hop the longest time is the South. I mean, because
they still got it now.
Yeah, because
outside of handful.
But can I tell you what? Let me tell you how they also influenced it for two things. For one thing, in our culture, no matter what, like we was talking about again, what's influences? Drugs, right? So by them being trapaholics and they dealing with trap, number one, that one right there.
Yeah.
But a second one too, Asiatics love to dance. We love to dance. You put a rhythm on, now we get this bop with it. It's like we got Soul Train line, cookouts, the whole 9 yards. So when you got Feel Good, basically, listen, they had the music. They listen, I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
And we're gonna snack, crackle, pop about basically, you know, so and so died, but we gonna pour liquor and whatever case may be and still party.
You know what I think made the South, why they still running? I think the South was the first sector or subgenre of hip hop that allowed people to kind of just be themselves. Like up here, everybody had to pretty much be the same way. If you look at State Property, you look at any rapper from New York, it's like you had to be hard. It was like you had to be hard. You had to be a punchline person. Down South, you could mix it up. I mean, you know, even right, exactly, right. Like the South was just like, yo, we're not competing with the East no more. We family down here. We're gonna make it happen, right? And you had a lot of different styles, a lot of different types of songs. East Coast didn't have that. We all had boom bap. All of us boom bap rappers. All of us were street rappers. We had no variety, and that's the reason why that stuff gets old after a while.
South more fun. They had dances.
Yeah, they had everything.
Exactly.
Literally had everything. You know what I mean? I mean, think about even people look at E40 as a legend because he don't rap on beat, but he's just like, yo, E40. Every rap connoisseur respect E40 though. So anyway,
Ebonics.
yeah. You said
Look at that. Ebonics.
Anything you want to say before we? Because
We got rap.
Oh, my bad. I done ran my mouth too much.
No,
Nah,
you good.
man.
I
This is,
appreciate you even
so
coming
good,
through.
man,
This
it's
is long
dope.
and
Nah. I feel like these type of conversations need to be had, man. So I'm just excited for y'all. I'm gonna make sure everybody tunes in and listens. So I ain't got nothing, man.
Well, get a viewers your social media one more time.
So so D. Ringgold. Ringgold has 2 G's. I can never go broke. My last name has 2 G's. And you guys can follow the magazine, In Club Magazine. That's INCLUB Magazine. And the App Store and all that good jazz too. New issues coming this week as well.
Bad. So what? Oh, I'm fine. But it's the Unforgiven podcast, episode 85, man. It's a wrap.
Ooh, Islam, yo.